on Periscope. Thanks for joining us again. This is Rabbi Moshe Bethel. We are going to study for a little while. We're going to talk about warfare. How do we fight warfare? We're going to talk a little bit about it. We only have about an hour and a half or so. I want to finish 5:15 or so, that we can get a little rest. So let's talk, how do we fight war? Now, this is the Apostle Shalom, or the Apostle Paul. This is how he says you should fight war. Okay? I did explain to you this morning that there's a lot of confusion where religion is concerned. There's a lot of confusion. When I said a lot of confusion, for instance, everywhere you go these days, somebody's preaching. Everywhere you go, somebody's teaching. I told you that I have a friend of mine that is a Hebrew Israelite, and he was working with these folks. So he's inviting these people, man, we're not Christian, man, and we're not Muslim, we're Hebrew Israelite. Come, and it's the original Hebrew Israelite. The original pop, he said. And when he says that, this guy beside him wouldn't say anything. And he said, I'm talking to you, man, so and so. And the guy said, Christian religion is yesterday, and to be a Hebrew Israelite is last week. He said, I am from the religion of the Moors, M-O-O-R-S. Literally speaking, the Moors existed way before Moshe. And when the guy said that to him, the guy shut this Hebrew Israelite down for good. Because if you don't know the scriptures, that you can say, all right, I know the Moors existed before that. Doesn't matter how long a religion exists, doesn't make it true. In fact, religion is not true. Religion means a way of life. But you need to know the truth. The Moors are the Cushites. These are the same people that control Egypt. The Egyptians were not the original conquerors of Egypt. The Moors are people that literally ruled Rome before white folks ruled Rome. The Moors ruled England before white folks ruled England. They are so powerful. They are the Cushites. I forget their modern African name. Literally is there. Yes. They're black folks, yeah. They can't. I'm not sure if it's Ken. I will tell you. But if you trace the descendant of Cush, right now we tell you where in Africa they are. These men ruled Egypt for hundreds of years. Genesis 11. 9, 10, and 11. Listen, I am saying to you that these people are so powerful. So if you cannot defend why you worship, how you worship, and if you're telling somebody that we're not a religion, but if you tell somebody that the assembly and the Hebrew Israelite part begin with Moshe, you really don't know the truth. Because it didn't begin with Moshe. It didn't even begin with Abraham. The new covenant began with Abraham, but the first covenant was Noah, Genesis 9. And the new covenant was with Abraham, Genesis 15. And then the next covenant is with Messiah. So if you're going to go back to the covenant, you will find truth. But it goes further than Noah. Because again, if you don't know that they were a set of men, Genesis 3 said, and from the days of Seth, that's the third son of Adam, he said, and from the days of Seth, men again begin to call upon the name of Yahuwah. Because what happened? Cain set a bad example. Demon were let loose on earth, and the descendant from Seth, because Abel died, and the descendant from Seth were such wicked people. That's what breed this set of people that were the people that, you see, a lot of people even mistook the word when they said mighty men, believing this men mean mighty in stature. It literally means the first Babylon the first Babylon, Lamech, the first Babylon that was built by a black man. The first oppressors of Hebrew Israelites were not white people, but black people. The Egyptians are not white. So get this thing. Yes.
The Mormons and the Moors.
They're not related. The Moors are black, traditional. Some people call them Egyptian, but they're not. They pre-exist Egyptian. But the Mormons are white American. But I'm trying to bring into order. If you cannot defend who you worship, where is the how you worship, where it came from. Like for instance, if you go into Christian religion, show me in the scripture where you're supposed to fast every Wednesday. Show me in the scripture where you're supposed to plan every year have a convention. Show me in the scriptures where you're supposed to do the thing. We're not even supposed to do a fish fry to raise money for the assembly. You're not even supposed to do that. You're not even supposed to go and ask people on the street, ask for donation for the assembly. You can't, you're not supposed to do that. When you take a saucer of money and come and put it in the house of God, when you take a man that's selling drugs, when you take somebody's money on the street and you say, I'm building Bethel or assembly, can you give me, so and you don't know where that money came from, and give you. I'm not saying somebody walking from the street and give some money that you know you can turn it back. But I am saying to you, when you go and seek from the very first tabernacle that was built, the scripture says, Moshe, Yahweh said to Moshe, go to the people and tell them to give you money to build tabernacle. In the time after when the first temple was built by Solomon, the money that built it really came from the wars that David fight, but nonetheless Yah provide. The money that built the first tabernacle came from Egypt when Yah said to the children of Israel, ask the people that you're working for money to borrow. Borrow the earrings, borrow the bangles, borrow whatever it is. It's up to you if you want to say Yahweh is a thief. That's up to you. Father, I'm concerned the earth is Yahweh and the fullness thereof. I don't care how you tell me to get the money, I'm going to get it. Now, so when you look at the way that we go ahead and we try to, we're not even supposed to borrow money from the bank to build the temple. That's why it's so hard on us, because we're having mortgage. You're not supposed to have mortgage on the property. We're not supposed to borrow from people. We're not to. If we're going to borrow, it should be from within. We're not supposed to do fish fry. Because we are demonstrating behaviors of poverty and poorness. Walking around and giving a $1 billion for $100. And let me tell you what some people behavior is. Oh, so what are we going to do then? Because that's the only way to build, and that's why it's so hard to build. We're not even supposed to use tithe and offering to pay, to use to build the temple. Tithe and offering, tithes is not supposed to use to build. Offering can be used to build the temple. Offering can be used to build the temple or maintain the temple, like make the light bill or whatever. Tithe is not supposed to be used for that. Tithe is supposed to be used for three purposes: to feed the poor, to give a stipend to those that work at the altar, which means ministerial staff, people who are literally working full time in the ministry, and to the shepherd of the flock. That's what it's for. These days, none of those, at least not in our assembly, none of those things can be realized because we're so poor and poverty that the shepherd can't get a stipend. The poor, none of them, people can't help people. We're going backwards. So be ready, be prepared to answer people, to talk to people when they approach you and they tell you that their religion was unearthed from day one. That's the first thing I want to hear. You what? Religion. I'm done with you. If it's a religion, it can't be right. Remember, religion didn't exist for a long time. That's why they are several lines. Follow not the way of the heathen. First thing Yahweh tell the people, if this thing really existed, if at the time of Moshe, if the Hebrew Israelite path began with Moshe, why would they find the Canaanites, the people that lived in Canaan before, and why did Yah tell them to put them up? Because Yah said because they're going to make you worship their deity. That means they have their religion. When Yah found Moshe, the first thing Yah said to him, my name is Yahweh. Exodus verse 3. Then Yah said to Moshe, you're a set apart people. I said tell Abraham I was going to do this, so and so and so and so. So you have to be prepared and to know Yah doesn't want you to fight with anybody. A person want to be a Muslim, that's their business. Person want to be a Christian, that's their business. We don't want to spend all day talking about Christianity and Muslim and Hinduism and demon worship and devil. We don't want to spend time. We want to spend time in the Torah. Hallelujah. So it's important to know why we worship the way we worship, why we call on the name of the sovereign Yah, and it's also, matter of fact, it's more important to know why the Messiah came. Because the Messiah came, according to John 17, next week we will get deep into that. I've been teaching John 17 every time I come to Jamaica, and it gets greater. Because a lot of people are reading John 17 and do not understand the word of God. For instance, in the King James Version, when the scripture says, bless the name of Yahuwah. They bless the name, and they put L-O-R-D after. Bless the name of L-O-R-D. The word L-O-R-D means master. How could you say bless the name of master? So the same people who are reading the scripture, Messiah say it loud and clear. Blind cannot lead blind. And if a man is blind, and you follow him, there's only one place to go, and you're going to fall in the hole. That's all. Because a man can't teach you no more than what he knows. And if a man's brain is walked up, everybody that he teach. Absolutely. Now, in our time, we are the remnant of the remnant. We have to rise. And there is no joke about what our calling is. Let's go this morning and talk on the subject of praying. Let's see how we fight war and what the arms are. The arms are. Okay, so this is how a home is supposed to be. If you notice, almost all the homes are broken. Okay? Almost all the homes are broken. Everybody have a child or children out of wedlock. Okay? Woman have 6 children but 6 different men and can't find peace. And a man feel complete and feel like you are a macho man because you have 7 children with 7 different women. And you still can't be the father to not even one of the child. Real men are fathers in their home. Real men are fathers in their home. One of our greatest defeats is that men do not understand their role. When a woman is the person with the greater responsibility in the home, you don't need to ask another question what time it is. We're in a serious time, and that is all that you can find. Literally, even in Christianity, literally in the 60s, the breadwinner of the family. In the 60s, and in the 70s, the breadwinner of the family were the men. Even in the Christian home. But the breadwinners in the family nowadays are who? Most family is brought up without a father. So your mother is the one who teaches you to pray. Your mother is the only one. You see your father every now and then, but he's not a father. What happened when a child is brought up without a father? You know for the rest of that. You know for the rest of your life. Unless there's a miracle in your life. And I don't even have to challenge you. I can show you to you from the scriptures that no child should be brought up without their father. Not one. On top of that, 3/4 of the men that are in their home that are called husband are not, because the word husband means master and owner and manager. Being in the house to prove that you are the man, and just to bring satisfaction to the wife, is not a father. A father, a husband means a protector, a manager, a teacher. So if a man is even providing food, but when it's time for worship, he's gone one way, and the child go to service, and the man is not the spiritual leader, what is going to happen? If the father is not the spiritual, women were never made to be the head. We can make a woman the head as much as possible, but I can show you from the scriptures where you're going to run into trouble. Women are naturally more intimate with God. Look at the behavior of the Marys. There were 4 Marys around Messiah. And look at the behaviors of those women. They never leave him alone. Women are naturally more passionate about the kingdom of God. Way more from day one. Period. Hannah was more active in Shemuel's life than Elkanah. Messiah's ministry, though he left it in the hands of the disciples, the women were deeper in the ministry. They learned more from the ministry. They did more for the ministry than the men. And that can be proven. It's proven when Peter was so sanctified that he couldn't get to the graveside of Messiah. The Messiah said, I'm all raised on the 3rd day. He was so sanctified, he had to wait for the bracha to be repeated by the rabbi. And Mary said, since I'm a woman, I'm going to leave on time and take time and walk down to the grave. She got there for Peter. If Messiah wanted somebody to give him a glass of water at the graveside, it wouldn't be Peter. If Messiah wanted somebody to give him a head rub or a little massage before he died, it would have been Mary Magdalene when she broke the bottle of oil. If he wanted a bottle of cologne, it was Mary, it was none of them. In fact, they criticize him that he's trying to take a gift when he should give. Can you imagine these disciples, these men, look at their heart. He give them everything and they determine that how come you want a cologne, expensive cologne. I tell everybody, I'm still working on me. Because if that was me, you would have to hear my mouth. Because I'm going to show you in the scripture where, why would you, Messiah said, leave her alone and let her do it. And they couldn't override. Because okay, you got to take the baby outside now. You really have to do it because we're alive. No, just take her outside. Let her take her outside. Don't take her away. I'm live on camera, so let her take her outside. A baby's a baby. She has to make noise. There's nothing wrong with that. Let her have service outside. Let her take her out there. She's evangelist. Go ahead, evangelist, and take her outside. And have service. Hallelujah. All right, I know she was singing. That's why I said her outside. So a lot of souls out there need to be saved. Okay, so women are naturally more passionate at the dedication of Messiah. The prophetess name was Anna, A-N-N-A. She was more passionate more than all the men. So women are naturally more serious, more passionate about serving God. And a woman doesn't need position or possession to be passionate about something. They just want a child to be in this. Now, let's go ahead and so I was talking about how the home is broken. You cannot truly understand the purpose of a father if you were brought up without a father. No man, you can't even accept what I am saying. If you're not used to a man telling you what to do, you're going to always have a problem with a man telling you what to do. A man that is brought up in a home where he used to answer to the voice of his father, his behavior is different. When he goes to his job and when his boss speaks to him, he'll understand that it's not because the boss is disrespecting. It's because the boss is the boss. A man that is not brought up with a father, he views things differently. A man that's brought up absolutely with his mother, few men that is brought up with their mother can be real men. Few. Because what should have been instilled in you cannot be instilled in you when you get to a certain age. It has to be a part of you. And so you can carry on a pattern of life if you were defeated in your childhood days because you carry that on believing that it was okay. One lady told me, the reason why I can't choose my husband over my daughters, I know they're sleeping out, I know they're doing what, but when I was 14 years old, I got pregnant, and my father understood my situation, and he covered me. I have to cover my daughter. Now, I didn't say turn it back against the daughter, but I'm telling you one thing here, is that if something is wrong from the get-go, you can't fix it. A young lady that is brought up without a father did have a problem, because mothers were instilled with the ability to nurture. That you can't take that from a woman. A woman could build an assembly fast 10 times faster than a man could. I'm talking, I didn't say a woman could do a righteous work greater. I say a woman could call somebody right next door to where you are and say, brothers and sisters, we're going to start an assembly. I got a vision from there. I'm going to start an assembly. And that assembly where she leads is going to go 10 times faster. Women are nurturers. That cannot be taken away. Men are supposed to be enforcers or leaders. But if you don't know what, in other words, if you are brought up where your father is afraid of his wife, that he can't speak to his wife, and you grow up saying you take the same temperament of your father, whatever your wife say go, your son is going to follow in that path. And what is going to happen? After a while, you have a repeat of failed men. When you have a repeat of failed men, if there's 2 boys and 6 girls, the girls are defeated as well. Because they are going into relationship believing that if their mother speaks disrespectful to the man, they must do it to their husband as well. And the flip side, the same thing with the man. If you go up seeing your father beating your mom or any woman for that matter, and you begin to follow that pattern, and you think every woman that comes in your life, you're supposed to treat them like that. There is a thin line between a productive woman. If a woman has to be productive, she cannot be a soft soul. If a woman has to be productive, she cannot be a pushover. Listen, even if you have a husband, you can't keep him you won't even be able to keep your man. If you just sit down and allow everybody to run you over, because some of these women will take him out right in front of your face. Isn't it true? You don't believe? Yes. Let me take my time and say this. Some of our men are so fleshy that for the relationship to last, your wife have to fight. It's not the other woman's fault, and I'm just trying to say if the man is available. If the man is available, come on kids, learn to sit down or go stay outside or stay inside. Come on now. I am saying this. A woman is not supposed to fight to keep your husband. But I'm saying that a lot of time, a woman is very sensitive. A woman to honor, not always, because sometimes women are too suspicious. And when you're too suspicious, even when you didn't see anything move, you saw a shadow and you say you see the person. No, that's a serious problem among women. You start blaming the man that he this and he that. One day he might really just raise up and go be what you say he is. But some of the time, if a man would be bold and be real, the woman would not have to put herself out there to want to go defend it. Men is supposed to be men. Firm, stand, respect your wife in a certain way. Same thing on the side of the woman. But I am showing you where the whole warfare where we are concerned. All the warfare, and I don't care where you worship, how long you worship, the whole warfare with man begin when the devil tricked Eve, because the devil could never approach Adam. He approached Eve. From the time that he approached Eve, even Adam become less than a man. He become less than a man, not that he wasn't still a man, he was still Adam, but his answer to Yah determined how strong he was. I am not taking the blame, it's the woman that you give me. So now, that is the same way we treat Yah blessing nowadays. Every time Yah give us something, you know a lot of us that Yah give us something used against him? Talk to me. Isn't that true? What did the people of Israel do with the well that Yah tell them to take out of Egypt? What was the first thing they do with it? Build idol, right? Look at what Yah said. Yah said, you know, I make this man, but it's not good for man to be alone. I want him to be happy. I'm giving him a woman. Eve was so nice and good. He said, no, this is what I call. You don't say woman, he said, this is what I call woe be to man. Hey, brother Hebrew. He said, now this is what I call woe. Now the true definition of a woman is really not that. The true definition of a woman is a man that is created with a womb. Really and truly. A man that is created with a womb. In our brain, when we say man, we think male. That's not what it means. Sometimes you really have to ask yourself what's the true definition. Trust me. Whoa. Deep. And that is the truth, because that is why women are often used to bring down great men. The devil don't win no battle without a woman. He never wins one battle without a woman. Ahab said, call the wife. He said, call Jezebel because I can't handle this Elijah. He said, call Jezebel because I cannot handle this Elijah. And it worse when Elijah killed off all of his prophets. He run home and said, my wife, guess what? Elijah killed all the prophets. Jezebel said, what? All right, I'll handle the case. That's it. So women have been used by the adversary for ages. And even now, women felt defeated because for too long the devil has used powerful vessel to his hand. And our women are greater. That's why the story in John 4 that said the woman at the well, all people talk about the woman at the well is that she was a whore. That's how people think about. Even in our saving condition. Every preacher that go up on a pulpit to talk, the woman at the well, she have 6 men. She have 6 men. Nobody, really and truly, 99% of the people that read the story didn't know her. Because if you judge her from her past, you will never know her. That's the difference. And we like to judge people from their past. And the worst thing about it, we don't want nobody judging us from our past. We like to judge people from, but I heard that 3 years ago, so and so. I heard that 5 years ago, so and so. That's how we are. But nobody really knows the woman at the well. Why? Because they didn't take time enough to look at what the scripture says she became after Messiah got involved in her life. Scripture says that she went away. She was not afraid to go back to the men that she messed up with. She went and redeemed herself. There are some of us that say, well, you can't go back to the men you used to be with, or the women you used to be with, because there is no change. You see you get solid stuff now? No, don't say nothing. You can't go back to nobody who you used to be with because they don't know the difference between them and now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is pretty quiet. It's true. She now knows that based on what was in her, you could not judge her. She was too much to handle. You couldn't ask her for sex. You couldn't invite her over tonight because she wasn't interested. Nothing that the scripture says she run and said, come see a man. Her job, she took over the job of the disciple. The disciples were there complaining, oh, I don't want to talk to her. She's a dog, I don't want to talk to her. They were there complaining, and she said, I'm going to seize this opportunity to tell the world about Messiah. So while they were there trying to get perfect, she ran away. And she wasn't afraid to go to the men who she used to be with. Because all they could tell her of what she used to be, they could not tell her of who she is. Some of us have nothing to prove with who we are and who we were, because there is in fact no difference. That's something to think about. With her, you couldn't tell her. All right. Let's see how we fight war. So I started approaching it from the broken family, and it's really hard to even understand Ephesians 6 if your family is broken. Because if you were brought up in a home with a father and a mother, and brought up in the strict way, so this is what Shalom said. Children, obey your parents. This is from Ephesians 1. Children, obey your parents in master, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother. So you got to obey even the elders in the assembly. And you honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with promise. Everybody needs to understand this evening as I speak to you, that when you talk to your child and you say stop, if the child does not recognize your voice, the child have a problem. Parents say it's just the sugar that she ate or he ate. Well, don't give them no more sugar. If a child is not able to stop doing something where you think the child will die because the child does not recognize the value of the word. Stop. Mean what? Cease. Oh, she's just a child. No, she's sensible. When you say stop to a child, you shouldn't have to say it 3 and 4 times. Teach your child to stop. Most of our parents today are so in love with their children. Most of our parents are so in love with our children that you cannot stand to see them cry. So you can't tell them to stop. Not all children are given to you by Yahweh. No, I can come to you with scripture. If you want scripture, I give it to you. If you, let me tell you that all children are not given by Yahweh. I'm not talking about anybody, period, because all of us have conditions in our life. But I'm going to be real with you. We are mixing up the word of Yahweh, and we're trying to cut it in bite size and try to fix it, and it's not going to work. If you go on 40 days fasting and pray for Yah to give you a child, there is something that you have to do to get a child. Prayer not going to put baby here. And if you pray 40 days straight and not eat, give me a baby, give me a baby, give me a baby. 40 days straight, 40 days afterwards, you're going to wake up sanctified and set apart, but you won't wake up pregnant. But if you don't pray and you have a relationship with a man, you're going to have a baby. There's only one way to produce children. You don't have to pray to produce children. You don't have to eat to produce children. You just have to be intimate. So a lot of times people think because we have children, it is the will of Yah. It's not true. Let's go down side. Let me see if I have a return ticket. I'm going to look if I have a return ticket because maybe I need to. Yeah, stop it.
The charge.
Pardon me?
The charge, you know, 5 years and this.
All right, let me go back and show you from the scripture. Is it true that Yah said man should be fruitful and multiply? Yes. However, order is instilled. When Yah gave Adam that thing, he instilled what? Order. So if you're out of order and you're producing, doesn't mean that it is his will. To bring order to your life is more important than anything. You can't take wrong and make it right. Do I want to speak evil? No, about anybody. No, I don't care who it is. I am not going to speak evil about anyone. But you can determine you're going to sleep with the devil and get a baby and says, yeah, with me. It don't work. When Yah, the scripture said, whom Yahweh put together. So if he didn't put you together, well, it must be him send the man my way because the man tell me he love you. Well, how else do you think he's going to get in your clothes? Be real. How else do you think? He knows if you hear the word, you're going to say, that's my man. He don't slap you up. He don't treat you like a dog. He's still my man. He beat me because he loved me.
Really?
So I want to clarify something. Yah did not tell us to get in improper relationship and produce children and say it is his will. That's not true. Can you have children without his permission? Yes. Cain killed his brother Abel and Yahweh said, leave him alone and let him stay there. Did Cain have children? Yes. That's the only way to have children. But what we want to do is to make sure that when we're having our children, Yah is in charge. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Once he is in charge, you change the future of the child. If he's not in charge, you're only having baby or children without purpose. And I can show you from the word of God, every man in the days of old must do this for the children to prosper. You must lay your hand before you die and transfer the blessing upon the child. Before that child died, he must transfer his blessing upon his child. What we are having, parents are not teaching children that you really will break your neck and die if you disrespect your parent. It is Hollywood that spoiled the whole world. If you roll back 40 years ago, I don't know any child in the island of Jamaica who would turn to their mother and father at 12 years old and say, why did you hit me? I hate you. You got that from television. America doesn't have to come bring their armies here to spoil you. You go to England and 75% of the channel in England is American. So America influenced the world, both with homosexuality, lesbianism, drugs, all of these things. America influenced the world through television. Homosexuality is something, it's a learned behavior through television. Relationship. Nowadays, all the movies are portraying, almost every movie is portraying homosexuality and sodomism. That's what they're teaching. We, on the other hand, we may be brought in the world in improper relationship, but we should not continue that way. You get what I'm saying? Yes. Accept your responsibility. There's too much struggle, there's too much suffering. Too much mothers are fighting with their one daughter or one son, and the man gone out to business Jericho, and guess what happened? The other women believe that is good until they have a baby and they move on again. Huh? And you are stuck with the child and guess what happened? And the same men that dog you, the women glorify them the same way. You're so needy of little sex that the man guarantee that even though you know I have 10 women out there, you guarantee you're going to live with my enemy. Wouldn't even raise the price. I'm talking about literally lock your door. When I say raise the price, get what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. Literally say, listen here, with me, it's over. The game is over. I would prefer if you die with your dignity more than to live in absolute shame. He did it to your neighbor, so you have one over there, one here, one over there. And in Jamaica, it's a macho thing to have children over the whole place. That's nastiness. You have one in Clarendon, one in St. Mary, you're a dog. Period. Dog. One in St. Anne, one in what? Matter of fact, in one city, you got one in every home. You are a dog. Dog. From the scripture. And guess who's sleeping with the dog? Our ladies, our women. Let me not interject the word lady. So the bottom line is, you may be brought in the world in this order. Doesn't mean you have to repeat the same thing. So almost none of us, if you notice the relationship that we get into, we don't get into relationships like the scripture said. A relationship should begin between a man and a young lady. And they were not supposed to be running all over the place. They're supposed to wait for each other. You get married and you begin a relationship. We're marrying somebody who's been married 4 and 5 times and you expect perfection out of the relationship. She's hurt, she's wounded, she's been beaten, you are beaten, you've been mistreated, women robbed you before, so because women robbed you before, you don't want to give this woman who you meet no money because women robbed you before. Everybody's not the same. But what happened, you find that you come from a broken home, she come from a broken home, and if you're not careful, you repeat the same thing over and over. How do we stop it? You know when we can stop it? No. Enough is enough. What do I do? Father, I recognize that my life is not in order. What do I do to bring my life in order? Number one, serve Him. Once you begin to serve Him, you realize that what you thought you were, what you were in Messiah is greater than what they tell you were. So the first thing to do to break curse is not something that stops without you stopping. The scripture said, curse can go on to the 3rd and 4th generation that people who do not serve Him Yah. A generation is 40 years. And if a curse begins with me, for the next 160 years, it will not stop. 120 years. And it means that if it's continuing for 120 years, if you do nothing to break the curse, You can't stop. When a man kill a man in the days of old, how do you break the curse? I'm not telling you to do that today. But if a man kill a man in the days of old, according to Torah, how do you stop the curse? Everybody understand? If a man lie with a man in the day according to Torah, what does the scripture say? If that man live on the earth where you walk, you get cursed. So what is happening? We're having curse floating over from every side, and there's nothing that is happening in Jamaica surprise me. Nothing. Period. Nothing that happened in America surprised me. Nothing that happened in any part of the world surprised me. Because there's only one result: if sin saturated place. Because righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is what? Reproach. Reproach me, you ain't seen nothing yet. Reproach me, it's going to get worse. Reproach me, 30 years ago, gays and lesbians could not be marching in Jamaica. And nowadays, if you're going to some church, that's where it is. The pastors in the Jewish religion, rabbis are marrying 2 men. You don't hear what I'm saying? The Seventh-day Adventists ordained a transgender in Los Angeles. We are in chaos. It's not a joke. So, number one, to fix the family, number one, men, take responsibility. You're going to date somebody? Understand. Women, understand the responsibility. If you marry only for sex, remember that's what you married for. Amen. If he does not come home, you can't complain, because what did you marry for? Sex. If you marry because you want financial help, don't get mad when he's with Mary and Jane, because you marry only because of the financial. If you marry because you want your your husband in your life, to become one with him, to live with, to respect, and to love, marry. And with that intention of marrying to a man to be your head, to come together, to have children together and build a family, that's what you marry. If you marry for money, can't complain about whatever else. If you marry for sex, you can't complain. Remember, you only marry because of the sex. You say the sex good, but that's why you marry him, blah, blah, blah. Bingo. Don't complain about nothing. He could beat you. He could swell up your eyes. He could do what? No, because that's what you married to him for. You didn't marry him based on his treatment. You didn't marry him. His last girlfriend tell you that he beat her up, and you said because she wanted to lie on him. You know what I'm trying to say? You're fooling around this idiot, and you have to be working and support him. And the sex is so good that you're paying him to come over. You are worse than. So be careful. There's 1,000 reasons that you can marry him for. 1,000. You marry him because of what he wears. Remember, that's what you marry him for. You marry him because of what he drives. Everybody can borrow somebody's car. I know you didn't get that one. Yeah. You marry him because he tell you he live uptown. They rent house uptown too. You marry him because you think he's this and that. You should not marry. First of all, let me tell you the kind of people that should get married. If you can't live without a man, you're not a good material to marry. Sure. And if you can't live without a woman, you're not good material to marry. Sure. Because even if you're married, you're still not going to be faithful. Yes. And even if you marry a woman, get married, same thing, you're still not going to be faithful. You should marry if you're stable. Stability means you don't feel pretty because a man tell you that you're pretty. You don't feel that you're beautiful because the man say you're beautiful. You don't feel like a nobody because the man tell you, remember when I pick you up, you have nothing.
Really no.
A real woman. What's this? Because this don't get you. Our women today are too materialistic. And men know what women want. He just buy her something, look expensive. Anybody can bring you Michael Kors pocketbook if you go to New York. Or Louis Vuitton or something, or Gianni Versace, or you name these names. It don't mean that if we give you a Michael Kors pocketbook, it is a Michael Kors pocketbook. You know what? It's not even so dangerous now because the woman that they give it to, she walking around with $19 Michael Kors pocketbook because the man sent to somebody in New York and said, no, look at the man, Jack. The man is working so much. A real Michael Kors pocketbook costs $1,200 US. And he give you a Michael Kors. So even you dumb enough to think you got a Michael Kors pocketbook walking around with, and he know if you can buy that. I mean, I'm not saying you can buy the fake one for how much you want to buy, but to assume in your mind that it's really Michael Kors, you are dumb and dumb. It's sad. But a real woman have her value. You have that value even if you're not a school teacher. If you're selling oranges on the side of the street, your value remains. Your value is there, rain or shine. If a man tell you, girl, if you weren't selling orange, I would date you. Guess what happened? Move on, buddy. Some stupid dumb will find you. But I'm selling oranges because when I sell my oranges, that's how I pay my bill. You don't get what I'm saying. So you can't be ashamed of what you do for your living, or you should not feel belittled because the man said, I only date girls that have a college education. Let me tell you something, common sense is more than college education. More dummies go to college than anybody else. So if you sell oranges on the street, let me tell you what happened. He could go to Mary Jane because you go to college. He just won't see your undergarment. You didn't get it. Did you hear what I said about it? I said he could cuss you, he could tell whatever. The one thing about it, he can't tell nobody what you look like without clothes. But he knows the college education is stupid. We say in Spanish, stupido. He can tell how her body look. Whatever. Now, doesn't mean that you don't want somebody in your life. Yes, but sometimes you just got to suppress the feeling and don't make him know. Sometimes you really want him out, but you got to, listen, remember you said orange. And if you sell orange and he's not looking for an orange seller, don't fall for it. So, because you will live in the rest of your life trying to be like what he said. And you're going to take your clothes off. And then you have baby, and your body begins to wear down, and you got all the stretch mark. And he said, didn't I tell you I didn't want no woman who sell oranges? I want somebody who go to college. Your price does not devalue based on the job that you do. It devalues if you allow a demon to talk you out of your work and make you feel less. Oh, I like girls with chunky body. Well, we don't get chunky over here.
What's a sardine?
Oh, I like girls that's chunky. He don't told you he don't like girls that's chunky. You have to. I'm going to have a baptism later so I can baptize somebody else. tell you, the girls that you're the first dark-skinned girl he did, because all the girls he did are Indians and good red flag. Leave him alone. Oh, I don't date girl unless they work in the office. You gotta be a clerical person. And you gonna lose your mind, sell your one goat or one cow, or go borrow money because you want to break your neck to be with him. One song you must sing when the man is looking for you, just as I am. Can't say you didn't sing. So because we know now that we came from mess, clean up our lives, bring ourselves in order, and say when it comes to my children, I was raised fatherless. I'm raising my children with their father. And you know one thing? If he's not saved, I don't want to hear, but he has a job, but he has ambition, but he will get saved. I don't care what family he comes from. If he's not saved, Scripture says he's unclean. If she's not saved, I know she got long hair, I know she got nice brown skin, I know she got a beautiful shape, she's just not saved. Jezebel is a good looking woman, but they're not saved. Don't twist things. So once we get the family structure together, you know, if I tell you the real truth tonight, you're going to be disappointed, and the sad thing about it, I got to tell you. You cannot pray and win battle in a home when there are unsaved people living in their home. Yah will have mercy. He will have mercy and help you and preserve you. But he can't fight for you the way he fights for you. You want to, the scripture said, is it Psalm 92? Where Yah said, I would have done this for you with the enemy. Psalm what? 81? Pardon me? 88? Psalm 81. Quickly. What time is it? 4:45? 10 to 5. All right, so I gotta hurry. Psalm 81. 81 and verse what?
13. The oath that my people have hearkened unto me.
Listen. Oh, I wish that my people would listen to me.
And walk in my way.
And walk in my Torah.
I should soon have subdued their enemies.
I have all plans to subdue their enemies.
And turn my hands against their adversaries.
And turn my hands against the adversary. Literally hit them down. Adversary. Go ahead.
It said the haters of your, that's the end of it.
Okay, so Yah said, I did not plan for the problem that you're in, for you to have that problem all along. But Yah can't fight our battles. He cannot fight our battle if we don't truly trust him. 81, what verse did you read just now?
13.
Let me read the other verses. Verse 14. I should soon have subdued their enemy and turn my hand again. In other words, slap the adversaries away. The haters of Yahuwah should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured. In other words, your enemies, why the enemies should only last 3 months in your life? You're fighting a 3-year battle over 3. The battle should have been won after 30 days, and you're still fighting with people at your job that have been in your backbone for the last 7 years. Some of you don't listen. Some of you really don't believe the teaching that I'm teaching on. This is what Yah said. Some of you are dealing with demons in your life, and the only reason why Yah doesn't fix the problem is this. The haters of Yahuwah should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time is extended. Verse 16, he should have fed them also with the finest of wheat, and with honey out of the rock, should I have satisfied thee. Yah said, I did not plan for you to suffer, even where your financial, your life is concerned. I plan to give you wheat, I plan to give you honey. If you know the definition of wheat, definition of wheat is mean life, definition of honey, it means splendor, and it means sweetness of life. That means you're not just living life, but you're living life to the fullest. That's what honey means. When you see definition like corn or wheat and honey and wine, those definitions, wine means healing, oil means healing, honey means splendor. All of these things have definition. Yah said, I did not mean for you to be in a 3-year battle with somebody. And then the worst part about it, after you fight a war for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you're bound to, as a human, you're bound to think that the person is doing witchcraft, and sometimes the person is not doing no witchcraft. Your life is not right, so the battle is drawn out. So let us try our endeavor best. And that's why children should not date. Some of your mothers believe, because I've seen this happen all the time. I know people that have boy children, and they don't care who the boy is sleeping with, but they protect their daughters. See, as long as the risk of the child not coming home to you, you're slack handed. A lot of mothers that defend their son wouldn't do the same thing with their daughters. So it is important, I'm coming to you, brother, that you know the word, understand the battle that you're calling, and like I said to you today, that this world is a rough world. Anything you're going to have, you have to fight for it. If you're going to be prosperous, you gotta fight. If you're going to be triumphant, you gotta fight. There is no such thing like you're just going to rise up and just fly through life. It doesn't work. Yes, brother, you have a question.
Sir, did you just say oil and wine mean the same as healing?
It can have different definitions.
Oh.
Oil can mean anointing, wine definitely means healing, like medication.
Oh. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody have another question? No way life. So I am saying this to everybody. If you bring your life into purpose, everything begins to come clear. In other words, I can tell you, if I'm fighting a battle and the battle lasts more than so many days, there's only a few things that can happen. You're not supposed to be going to work and somebody is in your back for 2 years and 3 years and 4 years and 5 years. No! The scripture says when your ways please Yah, He'll make your very enemy become your footstool. There is no such thing like people supposed to be in the back of it. Yah could even make somebody become a plague to you because he wants you to leave the job. Some folks don't believe that. Sometimes he wants you to leave that job and you're not. Happened to me. I'm working on South Beach. Everybody in the world know that South Beach, which we call Miami Beach. Miami and Miami Beach is two different things. You got Miami, but within Miami, you have lots of other cities. You have Miami Beach. You have North Miami Beach. You got all kinds of cities. I'm working in the hotel, front desk and night audit, and I'm working there, and Yah told me, leave this job. I know the owner, I know him very well, and he said to me, and the other job I was working in Douglas, I want you to work for me. When I went over there, I know the man. The man is a full-blown gay, but you could never look at him. He's a Jewish guy. You could never in no way look at him and know he's gay, unless you know what his lifestyle is. Not these black boys walking around twirling like a woman. That's not it. No, seriously speaking, if you see most of these, only black people walk around and show people that they're gay. When white men are gay, they don't show you. It's true. The devil knows that to control the mind of Hebrew Israelites, you've got to make them sin to a level of abomination. So the white man can be a homosexual and he'll never show anybody. So I know this guy for a long time, but I just know that he lived in this wealthy surrounding. I know him. You know, I'm head of security and I know this guy, never go to his apartment, but you don't know him. You never see him with anybody, you don't know him. So the guy said, Douglas, I can give you a job. I took this job, I'm working at this hotel. Wow, when I went in, I found out that his hotel is a gay hotel, which means no matter what part of the world you go, it's a lot of things we don't know. No matter what part of the world you live, if you're going to visit South Beach, gays would look for a gay-oriented hotel. And they would send them to these hotels, and everybody's gay. On the job, I'm the only black person, and a white lady is there. It's the only straight people. The owner is gay. The manager is an Israelite Jew, and he's 150 times gay. He's not even gay like his other man. But again, you will never look at a white man, or most white people, and know that they're gay. Because they don't walk gay, they don't speak gay. So you'll see a white man living, not like I said. And again, the defeat that take over our black men, whether black men are in America or Jamaica, the devil, they are Hebrews, that the devil have to make sure he puts such a hold on them, that they overdo things. So this man wasn't a problem to me because he never talked gay, he doesn't sound gay, he doesn't walk like a woman, nothing, neither manager or nobody. And I sat in at my desk one night, and I see y'all lift me up like this. And I was beginning to fly. And at the end of it, it was like a good, in my thought, in my dream, it has to be like more like a half an hour. And I literally heard a voice say to me, you do not belong here. Leave. I was already working there for maybe 2 years. When I found out who they were, I should not be working there. I am a teacher. I am a shepherd for y'all people. I'm absolutely different from them. But I believe working in the environment wasn't going to affect me. You're sitting where gays sit. You have the residue of demon and you. And I'm using computers that the people are using. I am in trouble. And I didn't leave. The boss just got mad one night and just got mad. So something happened. Because if I don't finish my night audit, the computer won't change. Say yesterday was the 12th of the month. If I don't finish doing what I'm doing, the computer will not change the date. So even if it's 9 o'clock the other morning, the computer will not change the date until I'm done. And I was having problems with that. I don't know what happened because I couldn't get my figures together. Because you have to tally the sales from the drinks and from the restaurants and from the rooms and from what, everything, people booking and paying and everything. And I'm there, and he came in and we start talking. There was a Trinidadian guy who rented the hotel. Because he's black, when he came in, the room he paid for, there was none available. The computer wouldn't make me change nothing because they're locked. I went out of my way because I was taught to take care of the customer. And I put the guy into another room with I don't remember if it was a king size bed or whatever, but I gave him a good bed. And my boss was mad the other day because he's black. And I said, I was trying to keep the customer. They already paid. They paid, when you book a ticket through these, online, hot wire or whatever. And my boss, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't like the tone of what he was talking. I said, please, go ahead, boy, don't talk. I don't care. And he called me at work. It's over. So I said, I don't look on a man behind and desire like you. I'm telling you the nice way. And I said, so and so is made to filter order. I really let him have it. And his girlfriend come and start cussing in Spanish. I'm in service, so I'm trying to. So I let them have it. He came in the other morning and he said, Derek, we're not the same. You have to go. He said, you're fired. Now, did not Yah tell me before to leave that place?
Yes.
So I could end up hurting that guy because anybody getting hurt would have been him. And I would have ended up in jail. And I would have been messed up because Yah told me to leave. An old lady, a mother-in-law assembly, said to me, you don't need to be doing those jobs. You should be a full-time minister. Look at the people, blah, blah, blah. And I continue to go to these people. So I have to wait till they fire me. No, I've never been fired in my life. I caused that on myself because Yah tell me to leave. And I did not leave. So if you're having problems on your job, it's either you're not praying right, either something about you not right, or Yah wants you to leave. Yah could place you in position because strategically He wants you to grow. Here's what Joseph said said to his brother. What you meant for evil, Yah meant it for good. So please understand, if we are going to change our life, we need to get ourselves in order. When I say get yourselves in order, men, be responsible. Don't get up and go up and say, well, my father portrayed this. I'm going to do what Torah said. Women, do what Torah said. And bring order to your life. Singleness, don't kill nobody. I have never read it one time that a person died because they're single. I'm only worried about the world. That might kill her. But I'm concerned, I'm going to have to, is there on the toilet here? Pray for her. But far as I'm concerned, he has never killed anyone yet. And as long as you're single, there's a chance you get married. But when you tie yourself up with a demon, can I give you 1 minute? I take 1 minute and give you this. We had the greatest prayer warrior when we were growing up, a friend of my mother. That lady was so powerful that she could tell you what's going to happen in your life 30 days before it happened, 6 months before it happened. And she met this man and wanted to get married, and the tradition was that you must go and fast and pray. When she fast and pray, the Ruach tell her not to get married. But when you think you're a prayer warrior, you know everything, everybody else can do what's right, but you don't have to do it. So she went and married this man. The man took her away and he abused her to threat. I mean, he wore her out. And she ran away from down by Milk River and came back to Macon. And by this time, he beat her so bad that she was losing her hearing. And she had to go to the hospital every once a week or so to get treatment. And she was crossing the road. And that time they used to have a big police bike in Macon, not the little one that they're riding now, the big British bike. And that hit her, killed her. Let me tell you what the man said before she died. She was so powerful, that woman was the best. He said, I am going to sell every goat and every cow until I kill her. He says that out of his mouth. Do I need to say anything more to you?
Yes, sir.
Get yourself in order. Don't you ever read Ephesians 6 without you understand what the order in the home is. I'm reading it quick and leave you alone because time's perfect. This is what the home is supposed to be. Children, obey your parents in master, for this is the right thing to do. Obey your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with promise. So there is incentive to obey your father and mother. That is, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest live long on earth. Tell your children that their lifespan on earth depends on their behavior and their ability to obey you. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrong, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of Yahuwah. So fathers have a limit. Servant obey. This part here, this is a whole different story, servant. Because this is why a lot of people said that Shaul couldn't be right, because this is encouraging slavery. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters. And I'm going to show you why a tradition could even come in the assembly. Because here's how the apostle Shaul write. And this is improper according to Torah. This is troubling. Servant, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, according to the tradition, with fear and with trembling. That's saying you should be afraid of them, in singleness of your heart, as unto Messiah. With fear and trembling, that is teaching. And that is why you have to know, what did Apostle Shaul really say these things? You got to ask this question. Is teaching you to shut up your mouth and make a man beat you, or make somebody tell you that if you stop mopping my floor, you're not going to get a better job? You must obey the Father according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of heart. That means don't think twice. That's not true. Torah, Deuteronomy 16, Torah said, slave must come to the feast of Tabernacle. In Exodus, Torah, Yahweh said to Moshe, if the strangers want to come and keep my Shabbat, they are Hebrew. Solomon, when he was building the temple, said, if the strangers come, they are Hebrew. Isaiah 56, if Yahweh said, if strangers and you don't want to keep my Shabbat, they are Hebrew. I'm going to be teaching next week, and it is not blood that makes you a Hebrew Israelite, it's belief. It's not blood that makes you a Hebrew Israelite. It's your belief in Yahweh. So, not with the eye service as men pleasers, but as servant of Messiah, doing the will of Yahweh from your heart. Now, this again is confusion, because we tell you keep your mouth shut and whatever, and think that you do service unto Yahweh. That's not what it means. There's two ways to interpret the scripture. Either the word servant, because if you notice the word servant, it really means slave. The word servant, like manservant, it really means slave. But it could also be a tradition where that is why they were called. In our time, if I tell you that they are still slaves, you say, no, you are still slave. When the word minimum wage is the price of a slave. Okay? Let me rush down to 10. Let me leave that alone and rush down to 10. And I'm going to tell you. Finally, my brethren, so he's in the closing statement. Be strong in Yah and in the power of his might. I know you're troubled about some of the things that I said just now, because if you tell anybody you're Hebrew Israelite, and this is what you stand for, and the person stand up and tell you that your teaching is teaching men to shut up and allow people to oppress them, that's what it sounds like. That's why it is important to know when the Bible was translated, who translated the scriptures, why did they translate the scripture, what did they take out of the scripture. And so you will begin to realize that a lot of truth that are hidden are purposely hidden to make us fool. Yes.
Yes, but after you have explained clearly, what if a person draws for the 10 Commandments that involve manservant?
Again, Yah did not create slavery. Slavery was in existence, but Yah teach, because like I said again, the term slave does not necessarily mean that they were, for instance, Abraham was slave. That was before Torah. But what were slaves? The tradition, Joseph was a slave. The term slave means there is a tradition to buy people who do not have jobs and they were willing to work for you. How you treat those persons, whether a maid servant, a woman slave, man servant, depends. So while Yah God did not institute it, since it was a tradition, he does not necessarily change the name. But he said, if you're going to have, let me change the word slave or servant just for a while. If you're having employees, do not allow your employees to break the Shabbat. Do not allow your male employees or female employees to break the Shabbat. Deuteronomy 16. Yahuwah said, let go your employees that they may keep the feast. Every part of Torah that I turned, it didn't change calling the word servant, because that was a traditional name. To be beating people and make them cut sugarcane and work for nothing is a different thing. Look at the camp of Abraham. Scripture said that Abraham took 300 of his men and went to Sodom and fought. You really think Abraham was beating these men? No. So please understand that though it was a tradition, people bought into it because men were rich and could afford to employ them. A lot of people, not just Abraham, were traveling people. If you're working with me and I am a man that could be here now, but by the end of the year I end up in Montego Bay, you don't want to lose your job. No. Most people, so we move with the camp. So most people in terms of Abraham, they moved from one. So Abraham lived and worked in many different, what you call, countries. So if you attach yourself to me, and because you see my thing growing and I have lots of sheep and lots of cows or whatever, and you choose to stay with me, it does make you what we today consider a slave. You understand? Yes. Because according to Torah, you cannot oppress people. No other Torah. But because the tradition was there, you couldn't, because again, the Hebrews were slave, oppressed slave. When the Hebrews were now hiring slaves, but to call them slave, it was a tradition to say employee. However, like I said in Ephesians, it gets twisted because it's saying, obey them with fear and trembling. You don't need to tremble before no man. That's why you need to understand what Torah is, and we always have to go back to Torah to line up the word. Am I understood?
Yes.
We will continue this teaching a little bit, more. And Tuesday evening we'll have scripture study and we'll talk about the slave. All right? Yahweh will cause the face to shine upon you and give you shalom. Please stand. Anybody have a question? Any question? Any question? All right, please stand. We want to thank everyone for being with us, worshiping with us here at Bethel Worldwide Assembly. We have locations here in Jamaica. We have locations in the United States of America, and wherever you are. We are grateful for those of you, both my brother and the minister that is here, Minister Kirk, that is here. We're glad for your presence. Continue to come, and we are asking you to come or bring somebody or send somebody. And those of you that are watching by live stream, continue to support this ministry, continue to come and continue to tune in. Yah grant his favor upon you. Father, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, we come before you. We thank you, Abba Yahweh, for your goodness and your mercy to us. We bless your name and we magnify your name. Now we ask you to sustain us, O Yahweh, by your grace. Keep us in your will. Touch and anoint every one of your people this day, O Yah. Your people that have been oppressed by the adversary. Your people, dear Father, that is downtrodden by the adversary. We thank you. I ask you now to raise us up because of your word. We believe we shall be delivered. Father, you said in Exodus, in Ezekiel 20, that you are now bringing us to a wilderness and we shall be delivered. You will take us back out of the countries where we are scattered abroad, and you will bring us back to Israel in your time. May you preserve us in this season. Keep us in your will, I pray, oh yeah. I ask you now to understand our circumstance, that many of us are broken. Many of us are not in completion. We're not whole. We're not right. But I ask you now that you raise your people up and you take us, dear Father, into greater heights. Preserve us even in this time of trouble. Hide us in your pavilion. from the wrath of wicked men. Keep us from the plans of the adversary, and allow us, dear Father, to walk in your favor. I understand, dear Father, that my teaching, hallelujah, obstruct the gate of the abyss of hell, and that the devil is mad. I pray to preserve me and preserve your kingdom, oh yeah. Preserve your people even in this time of trouble. I bind every plan of the adversary that will come up against this teaching. I bind up the abyss of hell. I bind Satan and his army. I bind Satan and the legions of hell. Dear Father, that they will not penetrate your kingdom, oh yeah. Direct our path and hide us now in your pavilion, in the secret place, dear Father, that no harm will come to us, we pray. I hide myself in you and your people. I pray for the protection of the angels over your people. You said in your word, David, dear Father, that trust in Yahweh shall be like Mount Zion. They shall never be defeated. Surround us now, I pray, with your angel and hide us in your pavilion. We ask you for traveling mercies. Keep us now in your will, we pray, oh yeah. We said, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yahweh, may Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you, and may he be gracious unto you. Yahweh set his angels around you, that no evil will come up upon you. No weapon that's formed against you shall prosper. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom. Yahweh, I you and cause his face to shine upon you. Get ready for the concert this evening here in Jamaica at 6:30. Shalom.